Conflict, the ladder of inference. The ladder of inference is a way to think about how we each view reality. It describes the process that our brain imposes on us without us even knowing it. Most of the time, this process happens in a nanosecond. Sometimes we know it's going on, but don't think we have any control over it. But you can if you're making intentional choices about how you want to respond, which starts with questioning your assumption. Conflict, the ladder of inference. This video will review the most effective strategy to make conflict productive and convert it into problem solving. Conflict is the result of people disagreeing with each other. Conflict can be helpful or hurtful depending on how you respond to it. Conflict is helpful when it leads to new ideas or new opportunities. It is hurtful when it drives a wedge between two or more people that have to work together. When someone experiences conflict, it is normal and predictable for them to know that what they believe is correct. The more they believe they are right, the more they will resist what others say. As a leader, you can reduce resistance and resolve conflict when you understand where the "I know I'm right" thinking comes from, and follow a conversation strategy to get everyone on the same page. The ladder of inference is a way to think about how we each view reality. It describes the process that our brain imposes on us without us even knowing it. Most of the time, this process happens in a nanosecond. Sometimes we know it's going on, but we don't think we have any control over it. If you want to, you can slow the process down and make intentional choices about how you want to respond. This is how you become more skilled at responding to conflict in a productive way. Let's look at the ladder. The bottom rung on the ladder describes reality the way a camera or video might capture it, what you are seeing or hearing, even what you smell and taste. The next rung says people might see or hear the exact same thing but experience it differently. This is because your brain can only take in so much from what it experiences, and you unconsciously and consciously choose what to pay attention to. Has anyone heard of selective listening? The next rung explains why you experience it differently. Your personal and cultural life history influences the meaning you attach to reality. You experience a sound, smell, taste, or touch, and it means something to you that is unique to your life history. You will see or hear someone doing something at work, and it could mean something different to you than to someone else. The next rung is where you make assumptions about what you saw or heard as being good or bad, right or wrong. These assumptions are also unique to you and your history. Your assumptions then lead you to the next rung, where you draw conclusions about what should or should not be, and your conclusions reinforce your beliefs. You might assume that because someone was late coming back from break, they are taking advantage of you or the team. You then conclude and believe that they don't care about you or the team. This is where the reflexive loop comes in. Our beliefs affect what we see and hear the next time we are faced with the same person or situation, and how we choose to select data, add meaning, make assumptions, and draw conclusions. When you are at the top of your ladder, you take action on what you believe is right. The team member who is coming back late needs to be corrected, and because he doesn't care about you or the team, you might give him a piece of your mind. You believe that you are doing your job, so why does this result in conflict? The answer is based on the fact that you are only seeing reality through your own personal lens, and others may have a different and legitimate reality. The key to resolving conflict in a positive way is to follow the conversation guide. The guide gives you 4 easy steps. The hard part is following each step in the proper order and not skipping any of them. The first step is to state the issue you want to talk about. Describe it with no judgment. No sarcasm or hidden message in your tone or look. Then immediately go to the second step, which is to ask the other person what they think happened, how it happened, and why it happened. Remember, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Be careful to avoid sarcasm or tone of voice or looks that say anything other than you really want to know what happened from their side of the ladder. Listen carefully to what they are telling you without interruption. Ask for clarification or paraphrase what you understood to show that you understand. Then, once you understand their side of the story, go to step 3. This is where you explain your perception. This order of steps, where the other person talks before you do, is especially important because most of the time you will learn something from them that changes what you were going to say. This change moves you away from conflict and into problem solving, which is where you want to be. You then solve the problem using whichever of the 5 options are best from the Thomas Kilmann conflict modes. The last step is to agree on what action needs to happen next. Will they do something differently or will you? What have you each learned from this conversation? Understanding the ladder of inference and how it can influence you and others to initiate conflict is the beginning of managing conflict. Following the conversation guide is the way you turn conflict into problem solving. Now it is time to meet with your coach to discuss this concept and get your learning passport stamped.